Welcome back to Straight to the Point. In today's video, we are going to be discussing what is perhaps my favorite island in all of Greece and perhaps the entire world. That would be the island of Zakynthos in the Ionian Sea. And if you're new to this channel, and specifically these Straight to the Point videos that I make, as the title would imply, these are just the bullet points, okay? This video is geared towards people who just started their search into Zakynthos, okay? You have no idea like what to expect, where to go, what to see, where to stay. This is aimed to help you save tons of time, so that way you don't have to scroll endlessly for hours on TikTok or Instagram or read tons of TripAdvisor posts. This is straight to the point just for you guys to save you some time. And of course, if this is helpful to you, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another episode. All that said, let's go to Zakynthos. So as I mentioned before, Zakynthos is my favorite island in Greece, and having said that, I've stayed there 4 different times. The simplest way to get to Zakynthos is flying into ZTH, which is their little international airport. Believe it or not, and especially in the summertime, it has a lot of international flights from some major European cities. I believe like Berlin and Rome and even like London Gatwick. They'll fly directly into ZTH, but otherwise you could always catch a very reliable flight multiple times per day, especially in the summertime, from Athens ATH to Zakynthos. So you can actually get to Zakynthos via ferry, but honestly it takes a really long time and the routes are kind of funny. But if you just so happen to be in Corfu, or maybe if you're right next door in Kefalonia, you can just take a ferry to Zakynthos. Like if you're somewhere in the Greek mainland, you can just find your way to Kyllini and then hop on over. And I think that the only international ferry route is a route that sometimes is on and sometimes isn't from Italy, either from Bari or Brindisi, that goes directly to Zakynthos, but those aren't very consistent. Where you're staying in Zakynthos is very dependent on the type of experience that you want to have. I'd argue that one of the many great things about Zakynthos is that you can have a plethora of different experiences depending on what you like. If you want a little bit more of like an urban vibe, you want to hang out with more locals, you definitely want to stay in Zante Town, which is the port little capital of the island of Zakynthos. There's going to be more bars, it's going to be more walkable, a little more culture, a lot more locals. You can definitely stay there. If you're more into resorts, and you can stay at Laganas, or you can stay at Planos. If you're looking for like a beach town vibe, definitely stay at Argasi or stay at Laganas. And trust me, we're going to talk a lot about Laganas in a little bit. So for now, just know that it's a beach town vibe. And finally, if you want sort of like a villa life, like you have a family and you want like a kind of Tuscan vibe, olive trees, villas, etc., stay at Akrotiri or Ios Nikolaos. Like I mentioned, I've been to Zakynthos 4 different times, and I've actually stayed in 4 different locations. So the first time I went, I stayed in Bokhali, which is right next to Zante, but it gives you a sort of agricultural villa vibe. I stayed at Vares, really good. Second time in Zakynthos, I stayed right smack in Zante, and I stayed at the Diana Hotel, like rooftop pool, decent. Third time, I actually decided to be a little wild and stay in Laganas, so I stayed at the Denise Beach Hotel there, which was plenty fine. And finally, the 4th time, I stayed at Avalon Hotel, which pretty much overlooks Zante Town. I can't really tell you which hotel was the best, it just really depends on what experience you want to have, like I mentioned. So what to expect? This is not the Cyclades, okay? So in case you're not familiar, the Ionian was very influenced by the Venetians, which once ruled there. So you're not, and I mean, you're just definitely not gonna find that very classic, typical white structure, smooth exterior, blue dome kind of Greece that, you know, Greece is obviously very well known for. That's the Cyclades, okay? You're not going to find that in the Ionians, and Zakynthos is no different. What you will find is incredible beaches, like honestly, probably the best beaches in all of Greece, and Zakynthos itself, I'd argue, maybe has the best beaches, if not maybe number 2 behind, like, Lefkada definitely entered the chat on that one. Lefkada is crazy. It's also a very luscious island, okay? So it's very green. So you do have a really nice contrast between those really white beaches, the white cliffs, and then you have the green. So it's beautiful. as much as it's not as cool and classic as the cyclids are with the white and the blue and stuff, it's definitely got a great vibe to it. It definitely looks beautiful. I would say that Zakynthos is pretty easy to get around, but you should definitely rent either a car or an ATV, because trust me, this is a very like nature heavy island, and you definitely want to check out a lot more than just like Laganas if you're staying there, or Zante. There's plenty to see on the island. Okay, let's get Laganas out of the way, shall we? Laganas is a beast. It's a beast in a good way and a beast in a really bad way. It just depends on what you want to experience. Things you should absolutely know about Laganas are you're going to see a lot of Brit and Serb youth. Take that however you want to take that. Look, not for nothing, especially because this is a young Brit and Serb crowd. Raucous, man. Sloppy, lots of bar fights, like a vibe that's very like not great, especially at night. During the day it's actually not terrible, but at night, fuck man. Like, I don't teach his own, but it's sloppy and ruckus. Just know that. Like, it can be extremely fun and it is wild. It's definitely wild to check it out. It's just, I don't know if you want to be witnessing that all the time. And if that's not your speed, do not go to Laganas. Like, do not go. Trust me, you're gonna hate it. Laganas has a beach, and the beach is fine, but like what you want to see is like this long strip of perpendicular road that leads up to the actual beach. On that strip is where you're gonna find all the clubs that you want to go to, like Carpe Diem, Cocktails and Dreams, Ceros, Rescue Bar, Fishbowl, Sugar, Sin City. Like, there's honestly, they all kind of feel the same, and you can definitely hop from one to the other. Everybody goes there, has a couple drinks, gets a little fucked up, and goes to the next one. So I wouldn't say any of them are better than the others, but definitely like Rescue, Cocktail and Dreams, Carpe Diem, those are like probably the busiest ones, just so you know. I'm actually gonna go out on a limb and actually give Laganas some props here, because during the day it's pretty cool actually. The fact that Laganas does have a younger vibe, and you will see some attractive people because it's younger and stuff. And during the day, and not on the strip because there's nothing going on the strip during the day, but on the beach, Laganas is actually cool. It has like a little beach club kind of vibe to it. You can definitely have a cocktail there and just chill, some really good food. They're working on making it like a Mykonos kind of vibe. It's not all trash, okay? I'll give them that. Of course, you probably know or have seen, most likely have seen, the Navagio Shipwreck. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Even more beautiful than the nicest screensaver that you've seen or photo or Instagram reel. It's amazing. Unfortunately, it's closed, and it's been closed to the public since 2022. I was fortunate enough to go multiple times before they closed it. I actually never had a chance to go to the actual beach because every time I wanted to go and every time I was in Zakynthos, for some odd reason, there was like really weird tides, the ocean was really choppy, whatever. I wasn't able to actually go to the beach, but I've seen it from above multiple times, and honestly, it's incredible. Just so you know, they closed it because of seismic activity, and people have actually been injured from falling rocks onto the beach. And I will say that when I was there, in very Greek fashion, there wasn't like safety rails or anything. By all means, you can slip and fall 700,000 feet to your death, which unfortunately has happened in the past. It was very much like visitor beware, but it was so worth it. It's an incredible experience. And actually, I think I read somewhere that they're going to spend like 300 million euros to fortify that entire area to sort of like seismic proof it for future visitors. So they're definitely going to reopen it because it is such a cash cow, such a tourist grab, and it's incredible. So I don't know when you're watching this video, but hopefully by the time you're watching it, they've reopened. You can finally make your way to Navagio Shipwreck Beach, either from above or below. They're both amazing. It's incredible. Definitely worth it. I feel like this doesn't get talked about as much as it should, but renting a tiny boat from Laganas and just going to the Keri cave area and checking out those caves is one of the best, if not probably the best experience I've ever had on Zakynthos. When I tell you it's a must-do, it's a must-do. You have to do this. Like, you can rent a tiny boat for like 60, 70 euro for a few hours, and you can take it from Vesalis Beach, which right next to Vesalis Beach, there's like a bunch of little boat stands, rent over there. Grab that boat, sail, drive it, whatever your way to Keri Caves, anchor it. Be careful when you anchor, by the way. You should know what you're doing when you do that. Jump in the water, swim to these little caves that are like just gorgeous, these little coves, and have a day, man. Have an afternoon. It is incredible. Like, it is such a nice experience that you absolutely have to do. If there's one thing you're gonna do on Zakynthos, you're gonna rent a damn boat and go to the Keri Caves. So like the Coast Guard's not gonna let you go like further than the Keri Caves, especially in those little tiny boats. Like for that, you would need a bigger boat, but you can see plenty. There's plenty of places to stop and little beaches to chill, take some drinks, take some beers, take whatever, be responsible, but do that by all means. It's incredible. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have a bigger boat, there are so many coves and little caves that you can unlock throughout the island, especially on the island's western coast. Do that. I didn't have that kind of privilege, but you should definitely do that. That's incredible. I feel like you should definitely rent an ATV, like I mentioned, while you're in Zakynthos. And the reason for that is because Zakynthos has some of the best nature of any Greek island. Just note that if you're not an EU citizen, like, well, I actually am. I'm EU and American, but I don't have an EU driver's license. So as an American, I actually need to get an international driver's license, which honestly is not that difficult to do. They ask you for an international driver's license, so just make sure you have that if you want to rent any kind of ATV. Definitely drive through the interior, check out some of these olive fields, which are always like a really pretty thing to see on the side of the road. Great photo ops, great opportunity for reels as well, any kind of content really, and they're very relaxing, very, very nice. And Zakynthos actually has a very big olive oil industry. You should definitely visit the town of Keri, and you should definitely go check out the viewpoint from Nizithras. It's right on top of those white cliffs. You're gonna see some crazy views. You also have like literally the world's largest Greek flag there. It's really epic, incredible views. So definitely do that. Two places that are really good for sunsets would be Plakaki and Korakonisi. Those two spots, they're kind of unassuming and like just there strewn about. Great places to park your ATV car wherever, maybe set up a picnic. There is a restaurant at Korakonisi. Maybe you can just sit there, chill, watch the sunset. Really, really cool spot. To further that point about ATVs, this island is one of, if not the best Greek island for views, probably outside of Santorini. Obviously, there are different kinds of views, but there are so many different places to stop and admire those said views that you absolutely need to have your own transportation. Reserve some time to drive around, absolutely worth it, and it's a must do. Which of course you could just see the views during the day and then get shit-faced at night, and then rinse and repeat, do it all over again. Why not? Okay, so final thoughts on Zakynthos. Of course I'm biased, of course I'm gushing over it because I love it. It's my favorite island in Greece, but the thing that I think makes Zakynthos my favorite island is that Zakynthos can be whatever you want it to be. Do you want a family getaway? You can do that. Do you want just a resort type of experience? It has that. Do you want to get absolutely plastered shit-face, all of that? You can do that. It's there. It's whatever you want Zakynthos to be. It provides it for you. That right there is very unique and extremely hard to find. Trust me, I don't think any other island in Greece offers that wide of a gamut of different experiences. I'd actually go further and say that not only is it my favorite Greek island, but it might be my favorite island in Europe, perhaps in the whole world. Hot take, whatever you want to call it, it's that good. Honestly, if you're not staying at least 5 nights, you're doing it a disservice because between the views, the boats, nursing your hangover, give it at least 5 nights, man. Like, you'll thank me later. Okay, well, there you have it. That is my straight to the point video on the lovely Ionian island of Zakynthos. An absolute stunner and gem of an island that you absolutely need to visit. Make it a priority. It's worth it. And again, if you like what you saw, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. And if you have any other questions for me on the island, something that I didn't cover, go ahead and drop it in the comments and I'll get to it as soon as I can. I promise. I'll catch you guys on the next one.